Get ready to snack like a dragonborn with sweet rolls from Elder Scrolls Skyrim. Hey everybody, it's Hammy, and Skyrim! People are still playing Skyrim, and why not? It's one of the best action RPGs ever made, there's tons of DLC, and it's available on every console going back to 2011. Well, almost every console. Rest in peace, comrade. And if you've ever played Skyrim, you recognize these! Sweet Rolls! Now, you can find these in most inns, and starting with the Heartfire DLC, you can make them yourself. Which is exactly what we're gonna do in this video. My recipe uses the same parts list from the game, but they also hide some pretty sweet surprises. And they look great now, but they look even better once we slice into them. And by the end of the video, you'll know exactly how to make Skyrim Sweet Rolls at home. They're the perfect weekend bake, everybody loves them, and if you're sneaky, you can eat them for breakfast. Best of all, you don't need a fancy mixer to make them, because Skyrim is a land of magic, and swords, and dragons, and ghouls, and whatever the hell this guy is. But as far as I know, there's no KitchenAids in Skyrim. There's no KitchenAids in any Elder Scrolls games. What these rolls do require is a little patience. We're gonna start it off with something called a starter. First, measure out your flour, 250 grams. This recipe calls for bread flour, but feel free to use all-purpose. It'll get you close. In an airtight container goes 150 grams of milk, and then mix in a couple spoonfuls of the flour that we measured out until you have a loose batter. It'll look sort of like pancake batter. Then you can sprinkle on 4 grams of yeast. Then cover and place in a warm place until it grows to twice its size. It's alive! I mean, it really is. This is actually alive. And taking this extra step will make for much softer rolls. In the biggest bowl you have goes your starter. Make sure to get every single drop. Crack an egg and place it into a bowl. Carefully scoop out the yolk, cause we won't need the white. Then add 50 grams of sugar, half a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm using vanilla paste, but you can easily use extract here. And most importantly, half a teaspoon of salt. Don't leave that out or your sweet rolls are going to taste like cardboard. Also don't leave out the rest of your flour that you measured out. Pretty crucial. If you want, you can grate in some lemon or orange zest. Make sure to only grate the outer yellow part. The white stuff is disgusting. And honestly, you only need about half a lemon's worth of zest here. Mix it until it's just combined. Start with a spoon and then work in your hands. It will be shaggy and that's okay. After we rest it a bit, it'll be much easier to work with. Cover with a kitchen towel and let it rest for about 20 minutes. This allows the dough to relax and hydrate. Alright, after this initial resting period, start kneading. Now, since we're not using a machine, it'll take about 5 to 8 minutes. Do not add more flour, alright? If it sticks to the counter, just scrape it off. If I'm being honest, I'm starting to regret not using a machine. I recommend you knead the dough one hand at a time. If one hand gets tired, just switch to the other hand. Why not knead with 2 hands? Well, things can get pretty sticky. But even if things get sticky, you can scrape the gunk off your hands with the dough scraper. I love this thing. You'll know you're done kneading when the dough looks like this. Stretchy and shiny. Back to the bowl. We're going to work in 70 grams of butter. Make sure that when you do this, the butter is at least semi-soft. And again, this will get sticky. Don't worry, the dough will take it. Don't add more flour, by the way. Just keep lifting and slapping. Lifting and slapping. Now, I do this in the bowl because it's going to get very sticky. And again, don't add more flour to this. When you're doing this, really don't be afraid to slap your dough the way I'm doing. It's actually a really good way to get the butter in. Just lift it up best you can and then slam it back down. Once the dough takes all the butter, roll it up into a ball, best you can. Then cover it once again and allow it to rise until doubled in size. This will take a couple hours, give or take. While we wait for the dough to rise, why don't you hit that subscribe button? I'm always adapting in-game items into new recipes, so don't be shy about leaving a request in the comments. Back to the sweet rolls. Alright, punch down that dough because we're in the home stretch. Now, raisins. Don't turn off the video! Raisins are always optional in my opinion. Now, I like golden raisins, and unlike dark raisins, they don't taste like sin. But honestly, you can leave them out. Pretty good. If you're going to use them, mix in 1/3 cup of raisins into the dough after the first rise. Really knead the dough so that it takes all the raisins. And frankly, you can use any dried fruit here as long as it's small. Blueberries, cranberries, anything really. Now my sweet rolls are built for adventuring, so they're going to be small. I'm using these small non-stick Gugelhof molds, but you can use anything with a hole in the middle really. Whatever you use, make sure that you grease it with plenty of no-stick spray. Alright, back to the dough. Divide it into 4 or so equal pieces. It doesn't have to be exact. Then roll these pieces into nice taut little balls. To do this, just cup the dough in your hand and sort of drag it towards you. It's very pliant dough, so you shouldn't have to work too hard. This next part's a little bit awkward, but I don't want any jokes. Alright, now carefully finger the dough to punch a hole in it so that they'll slide easily into the pans. Drop the dough balls into the pan and really push them into the bottom. Now let these rise one more time. When they look like these, they're ready to bake. In a 350-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Or until they're golden brown on top. Or do what I do and check their temperature. If the thermometer reads 200 degrees or higher, they're done. Let these cool in the pan for 5 minutes, then carefully slide them out of the pans and allow them to cool completely. Now, honestly, these rolls are good as is, but while they cool, we're going to make an icing. In a bowl goes 1 cup of powdered sugar, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and a dash of vanilla. Whisk this whole mess together. It'll be very, very thick. Now carefully pour the glaze around them. Go easy because it's going to drip down. And make sure that you do this over foil so that you can catch the mess. You don't really want them covered in glaze, you just want to give them a nice sweet accent. Once the icing sets, they're done. How did I do? These look amazing already, but the real magic is what's inside. Let's slice into these bad boys. The inside is super soft and super buttery, and not too sweet. It's kind of the perfect pastry, and all without a fancy mixer. To store them, grab a Ziploc bag, slide them in, and suck out the air. They'll stay fresh on the counter for a few days, and longer in the fridge. But let's face it, these rolls aren't gonna last too long, cause I'm gonna eat mine. Now these rolls are good as is, but with a cappuccino, they make the perfect cold weather breakfast. They're pretty good at room temp, but they're even better if you nuke them for like 10 seconds. Ooh. Skyrim Sweet Rolls are the perfect wintertime snack, and they are definitely yummy. If you like that, subscribe, hit the bell, and check out my take on Homer's Moon Waffle. Thanks for watching. Bye!